Alright, now the final things that need to happen then is the final battle, the moral self-revelation, the moral decision, the thematic revelation, and equilibrium. Okay, what does this mean? These three don't have to happen in any particular order, but they do need to happen. So the final, in this case of the story we're talking about, Jack has his final battle with the opponent. It's a horrible battle, and they're fighting, and they both get hurt, and it's a back and forth give and take, and maybe his sister gets hurt, and his new girlfriend or potential girlfriend, that the alien girl, that he's overcome his problem with love, or there's the potential of that there, and maybe she gets hurt too, and she's like, just kill him, man, kill him, right? And his sister's like, no, don't. So he has these two different people telling him different things: kill him, don't kill him, and he needs to make that moral decision. So in this case, his moral decision is going to come out of the battle, and it's going to be organic, but nonetheless he needs to have a moral self-revelation. Now, I think in my case, in this story, the moral self-revelation needs to happen before he makes his moral decision. But it won't always be that way. Sometimes it'll be the other way around, that your character needs to make his moral decision before he has his moral self-revelation. So in this case, he's going to have his moral self-revelation first. His moral self-revelation that he has is, drugs don't help me. I'm not going to come to peace with my sister's rape through drugs, and I'm not going to have justice served by killing him. But killing him is not going to help my sister. It's not going to help me. It's not going to cure me. It's going to do nothing. So he has this moral self-revelation that killing Bob is not going to help me, and that won't be his real name, but I'm just, killing Bob will not help me, and that determines his moral decision. But I could make it the other way around. I could make it to where he decides to go with his sister because he's in the heat of the moment and it just seems right, but he doesn't know why, and so he releases the gun and says, you know what, I'm going to let you live, and shoots his leg or shoots his penis off and says, live with that, and I'm going to let you live. And then he has his moral self-revelation soon after that. If I do that, then when he has his moral self-revelation, the people are going to have their thematic revelation, the readers. And so then he thinks back about letting him live. Why did I let him live? Because I realize now it's not going to ever amount to anything. But I like it this way. I like it this order. So I'm going to have him have his moral self-revelation first, as he's holding the gun there, realizing none of this is going to help. And that leads to his moral decision. That helps him make his moral decision, that I'm going to let you live. Shoots the dude's leg and leaves him there, and says, don't worry, the ambulance will be here to fix you up. And then he leaves with his girlfriend and his sister. Now the audience has the thematic revelation. I have now summed up the theme of my story. And remember, the theme of my story was, and I had all those different takes on the theme. The girlfriend's theme on the story was, justice is served by killing the rapist. That you can't have justice served by killing. And Jack doesn't know, but he thinks at first that's what it was. His sister thinks, no, it won't solve anything. It'll just get you in trouble. You'll just go to jail. Bob thinks that he was justified the entire time, and therefore he shouldn't be killed. So his take on the theme is rape is okay. Now, when the story ends, I've never preached to the audience. I've never told them what to believe or not to believe. They can believe Bob if they want to. But because I've resolved the story, and hold on, I don't like this song. So because I've resolved the story, the thematic revelation is revealed. And that's how you know when you have a good story. This is actually what we've talked about this entire time of the story has so much potential to be a good story. So the thematic revelation is now revealed. What is it? That the sister was right. That's the thematic revelation, that killing someone that raped your sister, or that raped someone you love, or that hurt you in a real bad way is not going to make anything better. It won't change anything. It won't make you feel better. It won't change the sister situation. It will change nothing at all. So might as well just let him live, because why take the chances of going to jail, and why kill someone which might change you? Killing another human being might very well change who you are as a human. It might make you a bad person. And maybe that's one of the things he sees. Somewhere in the story he meets someone that has killed, and that man tells him that it changed him forever. He's like, I'll never be the same after I killed someone. I wish I never would have killed someone, because I'm always going to be different now. And, Jack thinks back to that as he's holding the gun to this guy's head and decides not to do it. So I've revealed the theme of my story without ever stating it to the audience. I've done it through action. I've showed them what is the proper understanding, which was the sisters, through action. So that's what you want to do. Finally, you want to end your story. You can't end it there. You want to end your story with an equilibrium, which that's just one way to word it. There's so many different words you can use. Basically, you want to end the story where all conflict is finished. Unless you're writing a series, then you want one conflict to remain. You want to give people reason, to read the next book in the series. But this is going to be a one-time book, so you need to resolve all the conflicts, or as many of them as possible. You don't want to leave the reader with anything that makes them go, hey, whatever happened to so and so? You want to resolve all this. So I've resolved everything. Everything's resolved. There's an equilibrium now. He's realized he's going to quit drugs, because that's not the way. He realizes that drugs led him to be more abusive and more angry, and that's one reason why he's going to quit the drugs. So I've resolved his weaknesses there. He still has a fear of heights, but he knows that in the right time he can address his heights problem. He has realized that justice is served by shooting him in the leg or shooting his penis off, whatever he decides to do, and that's good enough for him, and he doesn't need more than that. He's come to peace with his sister's rape. At least he's starting to, and that's good enough. He has dealt with the conflict of his belief value system of how he grew up, that aliens and humans can live together, and he's come to believe that's okay. And that's how he's able to be with this girl. And he's also able to be with her because he's overcome his internal conflict of being hurt by women and not trusting women with his heart. And now he's able to start to trust this one. And we see promise of love in the future with him. I could even have a love scene at the end if I wanted to, and that would really nail that one. I would decide that after I wrote it, if I ever wrote the story. But so anyway, you just want to tie up all loose ends, and you want to show that the character changed for either the better or the worst. If your character didn't change for the better or worst, you probably want to rewrite it, honestly. But maybe if everything else is powerful enough, you can have a static character, but really you want to show change of some sort. I mean, in many ways, Jack is still the same person, but in many ways he's changed, and that's what the story is supposed to do, change your main character. So that's your equilibrium. You want to bring everything to a close as I'm bringing this video series to a close. There's so much more I can say on a lot of these things, like how to build your story world, how to build your opponent, how to build the conflict between them, how to build your main character more by showing more of these things I talked about, how to weave background, so much more I can go into, but I think I've covered the story structure, which is important. And if you would like to see more videos, I have other videos as well on writing, but if you'd like to see more in the future, let me know which one of these things you'd like to know more about, world building, whatever it is, and I'll see if I could, explain it in such a way that it made sense to me. Okay, so until next time, hope you enjoyed this. Please leave comments and all that good stuff.